Hi, I'm Judy Malika with Friends of Delray, and today our guest is Ted Hoskinson, who is the founder and president of Roots and Wings. Thank you for being here, Ted.
Thank you so much for having me.
So from the website, I learned that the mission of Roots and Wings is to support and encourage children's reading skills and teachers who inspire learning. And I want to learn a lot more about that. I know a little, but I know there's a lot to know. But first, can you tell me how you got involved in starting this program?
Sure. So back in 2000, basically, I came to Delray. I started going to Starbucks because I needed to have an internet, which back then was not dial-up anymore, so you could go there. And in the course of being there for those several years, I met Chuck Halberg, and I met Stephen Green, and I met lots and lots of really good Delray people. I actually established the Table of Truth, which was in the front until they moved the table away. I was traveling back and forth from Washington, D.C. I came down here to actually play tennis and to enjoy my life and to not think about a whole lot of things.
Okay.
But my wife and I had both been pretty successful, and we decided that we wanted to leave our money to help families in need, basically.
Okay.
Children and families in need. So we set up in our will this organization called Roots and Wings. It was my wife's name. She thought it was really cool to think about having a strong foundation before you spread your wings.
I love it. I
so
love that.
Because of that, we'd set it up, but we hadn't funded it because, everybody lives forever, right?
Well,
So at 50 years old, 60 years old, you don't think that
okay.
the inevitable is going to happen. And unfortunately, in 2016, my wife passed away. And when she did, after a month or so of grieving, I said, I need to have something to do, some purpose. And Chuck and I and Stephen had gone to Pine Grove with Joe Pesci and honored teachers. They were the two guys that started it. I just said I'd like to add my name to the list, and we'll give another teacher some money, because they went, and Joe was the one that figured it all out. So.
Okay.
And then after that, we established Impact 100 Men, a giving circle that still today exists.
Sure does.
So anyway, so when my wife passed away, I said, I need to do something. So I said to Chuck, I'd like to take this thing that they called the Snickers Award, because they had a little Snickers bar on the outside of a bag, and Chuck had put two $50 gift cards inside of it. So I live in Washington, D.C. Also, I called Mars up, and they didn't think that Milky Way and Snickers and all these other things were an appropriate name, Mars. So I said, well, I'm not going to name the thing the Snickers and the Mars and anymore. I'm going to call it the Above and Beyond Awards.
I love it.
Everybody, of course, stole the name since then.
Of
So
course, yeah,
everybody
everybody's
is doing
Above and
Beyond, and that's all great and fun.
So you're
but
rewarding
anyway,
students?
No, we were honoring teachers.
Oh, teachers. With
Teachers.
Above and
We
Beyond.
started with
Okay.
teachers, and we added, I said to Chuck, this is such a great thing. I used to be a teacher. Nobody ever walked into my classroom and honored me, so let's start with honoring the teachers. But instead of just at Pine Grove, I want to go to all the Delray schools. We went to all the Delray schools. It almost killed me because we did 3 teachers a month for 9 months.
Okay.
So at the end of these 9 months, we'd honor 27 teachers.
Okay.
And I said, not this coming year. We're going to do it quarterly, because they were trimester, because that's what they do in elementary school.
Right. Okay.
But the one thing that principals all told me was, you're consistent, you showed up, you did something that nobody else has ever done, because everybody says, oh, I'd like to help, but after one time, then it's
Like, I've already
raining or
helped.
it's something else. There's always some other sort of excuse. And I'm not saying there's anything bad about that. I'm just simply saying that they made that comment.
Right.
And the new principal at Pine Grove, when I asked her, is there anything else we can do? She said, help my kids read. Now, I was a former teacher, but I taught in private school, and if kids needed help in private school, they hired a tutor and all the rest of that stuff. Most kids have a family that, where the kids read at home at night.
Sure.
They have a
We
desk,
read with
they
our
have
children.
a light, they have a little library maybe at home.
Yeah.
The kids that we're talking about in Title I schools don't have any of that, or very little of that, if any of that. So when I said to her, you're going to have to explain this to me, because I thought that was your job, she says, come and we'll talk to you about what our problems are. And I quickly realized that they had a myriad of problems that none of us really think about. because we're all thinking about how we went to school.
Right,
We
what
have
our
a study
experience.
hall. They don't have a study hall anymore. They
Okay.
don't have anything like that anymore. So I said, okay, so you devise a program. So she said, well, let's have you help us pay for this after-school program where we'll take 30 of our third grade students
Okay.
who are in the bottom of the class, and we'll give them this extra time. We'll give them 3 hours a week, an hour a day, 3 days a week. We don't want Monday because we're all busy. We don't want Friday because we want to go home. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll teach them for an hour,
So those kids, she believed, just need a little extra
a
time.
little extra time, which is what they did need.
And one-on-one. Or not one-on-one.
Not one-on-one, but in a small
in a
class. So we
smaller
took
room.
the
Okay.
bottom 25%, which was about 10 kids. So there were 30 kids, but each class is limited to 10 kids.
Okay.
And each class has a teacher
Uh-huh.
for those 10 kids. And in that beginning stage, we didn't have a literacy coordinator like we do today because each teacher developed the lesson plans. They knew their kids so well that they developed the lesson plans for those 10 kids. So you could have this group of maybe the lowest of the 30. This group was the middle of the 30, and this group was... Anyway, at the end of the year, they were on par with the other
No
kids in the
kidding.
class. So
Just with that extra time.
just the extra time. So then I went to a friend, Harvey Kimmel, who said, well, sounds like a good idea. I love helping organizations. If you'll raise $10,000, I'll match it. So I said, and then he said, there's a caveat, Jeff. $500 is the maximum anyone can give. So after a month, I'd raised this $10,000. He was a
Wow.
little surprised that I was able to do it, but nonetheless, he came up with the 10. My board, I had a small board of 3 people, 2 other people plus myself. We said, okay, well, we'll fund the other 10. So now we had 60 kids, second and third grade, in 2 schools.
Wow.
And the same thing happened. We went up to Orchard View.
Uh-huh.
So then we went to Children's Services. They had a program called Growing Great.
Uh-huh.
And we were there for 4 years, and we got money from them, and we went from 2 schools to 4 schools, 4 schools to 7 schools, 7 schools to 10 schools, 10 schools
Wow.
to 13 schools. And then last year we went to 15 schools, and this year we've grown to 20 schools. So from a beginning of 30 kids in one school, in one grade, we now do first, second, third. We don't let the kids, if they're into fourth and they're promoted, but they aren't proficient and they still want learning, we'll stick with them for fourth and fifth. But it's a lot harder in fourth and fifth, unfortunately, because they're already having to learn stuff and read stuff and organize stuff
They're
that they're
way
not
behind.
really, they're already behind.
Right.
But we don't want to leave them behind.
Right.
We want to save their souls, because if we can't save their souls, we're losing as a country.
Of course.
Right? So we start with that, and now we're in 5 grades, but primarily the focus is still first, second, and third. And it's 7 classes minimum to
Okay.
start,
Yeah.
because we hire a literacy coordinator at each school. Because, and this is something that's very important, a lot of people don't know that Rolling Green is a dual language Haitian and
Okay.
Creole speaking and English.
Okay.
They don't know that Jupiter is a dual language Spanish and English. They don't know that Dwight D. Eisenhower in Boca Raton is a dual language.
Okay.
They don't know that Lake Park is a very small school that's dual language Creole, but also doesn't even have bus service, because the kids walk there. It's right in the middle of Riviera Beach.
Yeah.
This little city called
Yeah,
Lake Park.
I know Lake Park. Yeah,
and
it's
then, and
small.
actually those kids, many of those kids are actually bused up to Dwight D. Eisenhower. So things that we don't even think about or know about, as you get deeper and dig into the ground, you find out about all this stuff. But the most important thing is kids still want to learn.
Right.
Nobody wakes up in the morning. Got to remember this. Nobody wakes up, God, I'm really glad I don't know how to read.
Right,
No, I'm really
exactly.
glad that I don't. But they need somebody that cares. They need some time with their teacher. And then, so what we then do is we pay for the teacher time. We pay $37 an hour for the teacher.
So that's
we
where
pay
your
the
funding
teachers.
comes
That's
in.
where
You
all
pay
the
for the
funding
teacher.
comes. We pay for the teacher. We
Okay.
pay for the teacher's bonus. The teachers, all their, their retirement plan. We pay for
Oh, wow.
all of that. So it's
Okay.
$50 an hour for us for every hour that class operates.
I see.
Okay? But we then throw in our own money to provide T-shirts that say perfect on them, because we want to inspire the fact that the truancy is one of the biggest problems that schools have. If the kid's not in school, how can they learn?
Right, right.
So we want to get them there to learn. That's number one. So we want to reward them. So we reward them with that. We also reward them with little certificates that are gold, silver, and bronze, sort of like the Olympics, that say for 10, 20, and 30 points on their iReady scores, because we are very interested in results. We have an MOU with the district which ties us from the beginning of the year to the middle of the year to the end of the year in order to see what the success rate is. We not only get their iReady scores, we get their FAST scores. We even know what their Lextile score is.
I don't know
we
what
have
all
a
those things are.
myriad of information about those kids and
So
how
that's-
much they've learned.
That's the measurables.
That is one of the measurable is really against the other kids in the class.
Okay.
The measurable is really, okay, at the end of the year, how many of our kids on the same standard, in the same grade, in the same school, graduated to the next grade? How many of our kids had gains compared to how many kids that weren't in our program had gains?
Right.
What was the gain amount for our kids versus their kids?
Okay.
All of these things are statistical information because to me, I have to answer to funders and donors who
course.
say, what have you done? Why is this program, well, it's unique because it's in the school after school, taught by the teachers in the school.
Who knows the children?
Who know the children best,
Right.
right? And then you have a literacy person now at each school because every school is different. Don't tell me that this round thing fits into this square thing
Right.
very easily.
Right.
Each school has a dedicated person who actually writes the lesson plans for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, right? So even though you have a small number in fourth and fifth, first grade, second grade, third grade, and we don't tell them how many in third grade, how many in second grade, how many in first, because some schools have 2 in first and 3 in second and only 2 in third.
Okay.
If they've done their job correctly in first and second, they're less in third, right?
Absolutely.
And there could
right.
be more in third.
Right.
The best part of it for us is that we may start with 7, but the next year they want 9 or they want 10 classes because the teachers also see the benefit of it
Of course.
because of this above and beyond award too. Because we now go into all the same schools that we went to with the program to help the kids. We honor the teachers.
Amazing.
And we don't pick we don't let the principal anymore pick the teachers. The teachers pick the teachers.
Oh, okay.
So we go in because their peers have said they do a great job. And now since we've been in these schools for as long as we have 3 teachers each half and 2 staff members.
Okay.
So if you want to see somebody really pump up their chest, bring the janitor into a classroom in front of the kids,
Right.
in front of that classroom's teacher, and honor him for the hard work he does.
Absolutely.
Or run into the kitchen during lunch hour
Right.
and bring one of the kitchen staff out and say, you've been picked. It's sort of like if you reward the policeman, if there's one policeman a month that's on every flag in Delray Beach and he's the policeman of the quarter, and the trash guy that picks up the trash, they're all vying for who's going to be the best trash guy, right?
I love
I
it,
mean,
yeah.
this is just a system that's so simple because it doesn't
Reward
take rocket
equals
science.
gain.
Yeah, reward people for what they do.
Right.
Right?
I love
Make the teachers feel that it's so important. And we've had stories, I mean, there's a myriad of stories of that as well as kids. I mean, the lady that, when we got honored, as you probably know, by the DeSantis Foundation, I was awarded last year as a Catalyst winner. And they gave us a grant this year, and the lady that started in that organization sent us a thing saying you can apply for a grant. And then when she said, well, here's the grant, I just want to tell you that I had to tell the 2 principals in the organization that I was chosen as a above and beyond winner.
No. Oh, wow.
You don't make this stuff up because
Wow.
it happens. If you're a teacher
Right.
and you're a good teacher, you may not be teaching anymore.
Right.
But there's
Right.
lots and lots of people in this world who's somebody in their family's been a teacher, so they understand that teacher, how hard that teacher works,
Right.
and especially in a Title I school. It's just crazy how much, because the kid doesn't show up. The parent goes crazy that the child missed the bus, but they don't know because they come to the bus and the school, they haven't been able to reach somebody at the school
Right.
because the phone rang or whatever. I mean, there's a million problems that can happen. And then the fence is built, and so all the dollars that are supposed to go to education are going in other places.
Right,
None
right.
of that, we can't deal with any of that. We know budgets are budgets and things are, and all we can say is, for our little part, we're making teachers feel better and we're making kids do better.
And feel better.
And feel better and be encouraged to do better. Sure, you can read it.
So this is my power mantra, which I'm actually going to keep for myself. And then you can just tell me how you use this. I'm smarter than I think. I'm braver than I seem. I'm stronger than I feel. And I can do hard things.
So that's something we've given to every kid. We're giving to every child this year.
love that.
And they're going to have this that sits with them, and they're going to read it. They're going to say it out loud. And by the time they've said it 100 times or
They'll
40
start
times, they
remembering.
will have memorized it, right?
Yeah, kids can remember that
Right,
stuff.
exactly. They love to memorize stuff. And Daniel Hartwell has given us a little song that I'm going to have the kids memorize because they like that funky stuff that I can't necessarily all beat to. But if it's a genius at work, the kids love it.
I
right?
love that. That is
So the
great.
most important thing is for me, I love doing things that continue to inspire me and continue to make me feel like they're valuable. And the sad part of this is that we have the future of our country is dependent on how children who are growing up to be adults think and act and understand what's on a written page. And I have to tell you, we teach kids in elementary school, right? And then we don't know what happens because the school district won't tell us. They won't follow the kid once he's not in our program, even though we have a memorandum of understanding, right?
Okay.
They just with this last one have approved, the last time 3 years ago, that they're going to follow them so that when they get to high school, we're going to know again.
About
Right,
the
we're going to know
graduation
about where
rates and-
we're going to know that they're still in Palm Beach County
Nice.
and what their results are. So now we can try to track them and maybe give some scholarships to those kids. But
Terrific.
we'll be able to track our successes that way. But so I went to Five Guys the other day because they give us cards that we give to teachers. We put it in the bag along with the $200 we give them and the signed certificate. And he says to me, there's one of our workers, one of the kids in the back, says he knows you. And I said, okay, I don't know who it is, but when we finish talking about what we're doing, we'll bring him out and we'll say. And he says, part of this is a little embarrassing. He says, Mr. Ted, you were a rock star to us. And I said, I didn't know anything about it. I said, why was I that? And he said, well, you came into our classrooms at Orchard View and you honored our teachers, and that made us feel really good.
Aw.
And I'm saying, well, that's really special. And he said, but then I was in your reading program. And he said, so the thing that I really hated in school was I had to go read out loud in the classroom. They said the next kid and the next kid and the next kid, and I didn't know how to read very well. And I was embarrassed because I was stuttering and I wasn't able to do what I was supposed to do, right?
Right.
But he said, in your program, after school, I was matched up with one of my buddies, and we worked it out together. I didn't read very well, he didn't read very well, but
So
we were in a
okay.
class of just
I love
people.
that.
And he
Because
says,
the
and now I'm in Palm Beach College as a sophomore,
Wow.
and I just got a promotion here to shift supervisor. I said, you're our poster child.
You're the rock star.
You're our poster. You're the rock star,
Exactly.
right? Because what do you do your things for, right? You
Right.
do it for other people. If you,
Right.
if one of my best friends said, when you try to feel great about yourself or whatever, do things, you'll never succeed. But when you do things for others, it'll make you feel better yourself.
I feel your passion. I have been told by Deborah Dowd, who is a school teacher, that some of the students that are poor learners will act out. If they can't, keep up with the program that's going on, then that's when you'll have behavioral issues.
Correct.
So you're also stemming that by helping the ones that are needing a little help.
Correct. Well,
Amazing.
you can only do what you can do,
Right, right.
I mean, there are children who have come from, I hate to even say this, there are classrooms that we go into honor teachers, and there are 8 kids in the class, and they're with 8 aides because they're either mentally or physically challenged,
Oh, and they
and
need
now
somebody
they have a
with them.
teacher.
Right.
Now, I don't even know that teacher deserves sainthood right now, who's
Right.
trying to teach them. But when you stop to think that a private school doesn't have that,
Right.
a charter school doesn't have to take that, but the public school does. And you wonder why there's always struggling with funds and whatever. When you just stop to, when you get down into the nitty gritty,
Yeah.
which
Well, also,
school has to accept and which,
Yeah, Palm Beach County school system, I heard, is like largest food provider in Florida. I mean, so they're also providing
it's
food
the 10th,
and
it's the 10th
buses.
largest in the country, the 10th largest public school system in the country.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Well, I know, I just heard at the education breakfast that Pomosa remained an A, rated an A, and that 2 other schools attained that. I'm not sure what their rating was before, but Pine Grove Elementary and Banyan Creek have gone up from whatever they were to an A rating school. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Well, it's really good, and the story of Pine Grove is really the most amazing because it's in one of the poor sections off 10th Street, and it's just in not the best neighborhood. The area around Banyan Creek is a lot better. Chuck Halberg's kids went there.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Chuck did, but his kids did. And so when I asked, what's the best school in Delray to send a child to, that was Banyan Creek back in the
Okay.
day.
Okay.
So I know that it's had a good reputation, but Pine Grove has never been more than really a C. And then when Shantae King came there in 2016-17 school year to start that year, she has started really lifting that school up. And slowly but surely, there are people that have left to become assistant heads of schools. There are people that have left to be heads of schools. She continues to be one of the great trainers, and this year she was blessed to be principal of the year for the entire Palm Beach County.
Pretty amazing.
But
yeah.
so when we started with her,
Uh-huh.
her 3rd grade kids, when she said to me, help my kids read, only 16% of her children were reading at grade level on 3rd grade.
Okay.
In 3rd grade. Now it's over 70%. And that to me is an accomplishment. We're only a piece of that.
Right. Of
We're only a
course.
piece. But to me, when I see it in her eyes that she cares that much about making sure that that community is treated with respect and that they can do. Because the key with all of this is making the child believe that anything is possible.
Of course.
Let them spread their wings, right? That they have to know that that's possible, that there are people on their side, and that the community is on their side, that it just isn't their teacher. The teacher needs a little extra time,
Right.
right?
Right.
That they can't pay for, because if you pull a child out during the day, the child is labeled by the bully in the classroom,
Absolutely.
right?
And
But
they're all
after
so
school,
missing whatever was going
so
on.
guess what they call our program now?
What?
They're going to reading club.
A reading club.
Reading club.
Wow.
Just
that's
they're not going to
exclusive.
arts and crafts anymore, or the
No.
stamp club, or to learn how to sing or dance. They're going to reading club,
That's amazing.
right? So there ain't no negative with reading club,
No, I
right?
love that.
It's only positive, right?
Yeah. Well, I see your passion in your eyes for what you're doing and helping these kids, and it's an amazing story. It's an amazing program. How can people get involved? You don't need tutors. You don't need somebody to help work with the children, but you need funds.
Well, we need friends and we need funds. Those are the 2 F's we need, right?
Okay, all right.
Okay, and we need friends because friends create other friends.
Okay.
It's sort of like a little chain letter, right? You hear, you say to one of your friends, I heard about this program and it really helps kids,
Amazing.
right? So that helps because you never know. And we invite people to come see our program because I always say seeing is
Seeing
believing.
is believing, yeah.
Seeing is believing. But so for it sounds really crazy, but for $500,
Uh-huh.
you support a child for 54 hours of tutoring.
It's amazing. That's
It's
awesome.
like $10 an hour. It's not $100 an hour. And
Right.
that pays for all of the stuff that we do
Uh-huh.
with the teacher and their benefits package and some of the stuff that we do that we throw in. But
Mm-hmm.
the most important thing is a child can benefit for $5,000 a class. Now, we know that we have people that give us $50 a month.
That adds up.
At $50 a month times 10 months is a child, right?
That's
Is a
right.
student. So we just believe that if we have so many people that go out and spend $100 on a bottle of wine
Of course.
at a meal, or
$300 at the
$2,000
restaurant.
of something, but $500. So that really isn't anything when you consider that it's a whole year's worth
Changing a
of education
life.
for a child and changing a life.
Yeah.
You do change the trajectory of a child. And the
amazing.
problem is, it's all about words. If you really stop to think about it, it's all about the number of words a child knows. If you think about a child that comes from a wealthy family in general, think about how many words they're spoken to in that family at 3rd grade, and how many they're spoken to over at a poorer home.
Where
And it's
somebody's
just-
working 2 jobs or
Right.
3 jobs. Or,
They're not even at home late, and then when they get home, they're tired. There's no, like I said, there's
Feet in bed, yeah. God
Right.
willing, yeah.
exactly.
Those things. Well, I thank you so much for being here. How can people donate?
They can go to our website.
Okay,
It's rootsandwings.org.
okay, okay.
And they'll see stuff about us. They might even see a picture of mine or two, but I don't pay any attention to me.
Just
Pay
go
attention to
past
the
that.
words about the kids. Pay attention to the success rates that we have. Pay attention to our details about what we do and why we do it, because that's the most important thing. And then hopefully you'll give us a little money to help us continue the path of growth.
$500 to change a kid's life. Pretty amazing. I'm going to put the link in my email when I send this out as well. So thank you again for being here. And this whole time I've been like crying, right? And then holding it back so I don't blubber, but it's very touching. I'm proud of all that you do. And I'm
Thank you
proud
very
of
much.
the success of the program.
Proud of all the people that have been on now, added to the little army that we have. We've added a couple of staff members to our, because we can't do it. We used to do it with Idlin and myself. You can't do that in
a
20
lot.
schools.
No,
you
that's
can't,
a lot.
You can't, you can't be everywhere, right?
Right,
So
right.
even though you try, people say, well, you were just everywhere. Well, no, I wasn't everywhere, but I try to be in as many places as I can, but it's difficult, especially when you're 39 times 2 like I am.
Uh-huh.
Aha!
Well, thank you again. I'm Judy Malika with Friends of Delray. Let your voices be heard, get engaged, talk with neighbors, and attend city meetings. And watch for our next podcast or video. We believe Delray is at its best when we're stronger together.